All right, welcome in everyone. This is going to be a weekly reading. This is an intuitive tarot reading for the week starting July 13th. So I'm going to be kind of splitting the week up here because I wanted, this is an intense week. I shouldn't say intense, that's not the right word. It is one of the most astrologically significant weeks of this year. And so there's a lot going on. So I wanted to just do a general overview of the week to kind of encompass all the aspects happening. But then I'm going to be doing a separate video that's really going to be talking about the big alignment that's happening over the weekend, which is the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And that's the whole astrological basket. If you've been tuning in to other astrology talk, but a lot of spiritual metaphysical people have been talking about the same thing because this is big. Again, it is hugely significant because this alignment that's happening those 4 days is there's 4 planets that are literally lining up at 4 degrees of their signs all at the same time. And so I want to tap into that specific kind of energy, because this energy is what's really going to move the needle of the collective. And this is going to start over those 3 days. So this isn't something that's going to just happen all at once in those 3 days and life's going to completely become, higher dimensional. But it is really starting the whole shift of the collective, the whole shift of this reality. And it's just because they're all outer planets, it's going to be they're very slow moving. So it does create bigger change, the outer planets, but it just happens over a longer period of time. So I'm going to do a separate video on the, they call it Barbeau's basket. And Barbeau is, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it was someone who tended to, he foretold of COVID many years before it, and he also foretold of this specific alignment that was happening and what was going to happen with that. So that's why they call it Barbeau's basket. But let's start with the weekly, and then I'll do a completely separate video, so make sure and tune into that as well. So because it's so big that I guess I don't want to say so big, but it's very significant, is this. And this is actually one of the most significant alignments and shifts in our frequency that's happening this week for this year. So I want to definitely get into that. So let's dive in. Welcome in, everyone. I did post all of the July readings, and I was a bit late, but I did something different. So I posted by element, so you can find your sign based on its element. So I did a fire, water, earth, and air sign reading. And then I also did a bonus extended where I then did a shorter version and pulled cards specifically for each zodiac sign. So make sure and watch both of those. All right, and this is for the collective today. This is just a general collective energy view of the week. And so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I kind of tend to do these broader readings, kind of looking more holistically, more collectively. But obviously these are going to impact your individual lives too. So if I get anything about that, I'll obviously call that out to everyone. All right, let's get started here. I'm going to pull some Oracle first. Again, this is for the week of July 13th. So let's see. Yep, of course. Expansion. Yep, look at that, Jupiter. And Jupiter is one of the planets in the for some alignment here that's happening. So, of course, Jupiter was going to come out, and I'm just pulling my book up here, and Jupiter is in Leo right now, and it's again aligning at 4 degrees. There's 4 planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter, that are all aligning at 4 degrees in their sign. And Jupiter is in Leo right now. Oops, wrong deck. Patience, yep, and of course freedom, and I'm gonna pull this because I have to. Life force energy. Yeah, this is why this week is so significant here. This is what's going to ignite a complete reset and expansion of humanity, of the earth plane. And this is going to free us from anything that's been distorting, blocking, disrupting our life force energy. Whether it's, I feel like it's going to hit us in many different ways. I feel like our DNA is being activated. The human DNA was, a lot of those DNA strands were turned off thousands of years ago, and we are coming back online. Those strands that were turned off are now reactivating for those of us who have really been focused on that ascension. And it's all about the life force energy here on this planet. And we are awakening, we are connecting with higher dimensional force, life force, and we are coming into alignment with the physical and the higher dimensional and energetic realms. And it's all coming together. And ultimately, this is going to free us from a lot of suffering, pain, the old templates, the old organizations, the old structures. And I feel like this patience here, it's like what I said is, yes, it's going to ignite this weekend with this alignment, but it's going to be a slow roll, right? It's not all going to combust, be an atomic bomb all at once. And that is obviously for our best and highest good, because when such big changes happen, right, if they hit us all at once, we probably wouldn't be able to handle it. And I just realized my blinds were shut, so I want to get some more light in here. So this is right on target with this week. I'm going to pull these, and then I'm going to just talk a little bit of what's coming in the forefront of the week leading up to the big energies over the weekend. All right, meditate and contemplate. Emotions are running high. Yes, this could definitely be something we're seeing here. And then the energy is gaining momentum. Yes, so the week, I feel like the energy has already been gaining momentum. Again, something this significant with these energies, they start really building weeks, potentially even months beforehand. So we've already been feeling it. But even in this week, we're going to feel it from the beginning to the end, kind of this momentum. And I feel like this meditate and contemplate is really about the grounding energy. So to help kind of work with the energies right now, and we need to stay grounded. I really think there's so much happening. And the big thing right now is this is going to give us like aha moments. There's going to be mass awakenings. We're going to get downloads. We're going to be getting information from our higher selves, from higher sources. And this is about really tuning into that. We want to tune in. So whether it's meditation or just grounding, being outside, being a lot slower this week. I definitely recommend this week not being too crazy, too busy, or trying to do too much. So let's see. Let me just talk through a little bit. So first of all, we have a Cancer new moon, July 14th. So this is that emotional centerpiece here. Emotions are running high. That Cancer new moon. This is about Cancer is about home and family, emotional safety, healing, especially around childhood wounds and patterns, a sense of connection and belonging, and creating stronger, more harmonious foundations. And when we have new moons, this is about something new. What do we want to bring in? And we have a Mercury retrograde that we're currently in Cancer as well. So with that combination, it's not so much about changing, about like charging ahead and like making things happen. This is more about planting the seeds and revisiting the past and reviewing kind of where we are and how we got here, and reviewing kind of, especially the themes of Cancer, reviewing our sense of security, our sense of safe, emotional safety, and just safety, our relationships, what our home is. There's going to be a lot of kind of, again, contemplation, review about like, what does home mean to us? And it's going to shift. It's already been changing inside of us, in our hearts and our souls. And now creating that new sense of what home is, recreating what family means, getting out of dysfunction and old, patterns, difficulties, ancestral karma, and kind of, again, we're creating a new path ahead that we have more control over, in the sense of not control over, but just aligning with the energies, the experience, the people, the places that we want to align with. This isn't about forcing something to happen, and that's getting out of the old mindset, human mindset of I have to do things into creation. I have to force things by working, being productive, going out there and searching and making things happen. That's the old way, which actually is creating more resistance. I talked about, the Mercury retrograde is still going on, and that's going to go on through the end of July 23rd. Because this retrograde's in Cancer, it's less about, technology, because retrograde, especially Mercury retrogrades, it's about technology and like disruptions with technology and things like that, and like communication and intellect, and like how we interact from an intellectual communication way. But it's more about emotions and looking at and reviewing emotional things from the past, inherited patterns, but also processing them more through the mind and understanding it more. Gaining alignment with, and like getting those aha moments, but also shifting, right? Deciding how we want to move forward differently, especially how we communicate from an emotional space. Then on the 15th of July, we have Uranus sextiling Neptune. So this is a big one with a long-term impact. And this, we have Uranus, which is about awakening, sudden changes, surprises, freedom, revolution, and Neptune, which is spirituality and intuition and imagination and things like that. And this is really about, this is that spiritual awakening, that en masse, very sudden spiritual awakening energy from this. And this is about collective shifts, big collective shifts that's going to free us and revolutionize the way we live and revolutionize our experience, because this shift and these changes are happening at a root with Neptune. Neptune's about the unconscious, about the root of things, of how we build things from the ground up. And again, this isn't just going to be a wham bam, thank you ma'am thing that happens on the 15th, but it's going to, again, be an ignition point that's going to unfold over months. With this week marking one of its strongest points, but this is that kind of creation point, right? It's like when we think of human creation, it's that moment when the sperm and the egg connect and come together, and it ignites the energy that creates life. And then we have the basket, and I'm not going to go too much in the basket because I'm going to do a whole video on it, but this is literally the 444 energy, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, 4 degrees, all aligning in. If you actually look at the astrology chart, it looks like a basket. And at the top of the basket, we have Jupiter opposing Pluto. So those alignments are literally creating what looks like a basket. And when we have these energies of these trines, this is very harmonious energy. So this is creating harmonious energy of things changing and shifting and transforming, but in a way that's supportive, that's protective, and that we're really going to be, it's almost like the easiest way to support change, and we're all going to be on board, and it's going to impact the collective energy, and it's very grounding. And what the 444 energies and all of these coming together is about the unseen becoming real. So let's keep going here. I'm going to pull some tarot cards. I'm going to put these to the side here. More detail around this week. What is it? Any guidance, awareness for all of you watching? Yes, look at that. Magician. There's, the magician is creating something that wasn't there, right? Like just what I said, the unseen, and creating it into the scene, creating something out of nothing. It's like the energy coming into manifestation. And look at this. We have the Sun card. We have the Page of Wands, and I gotta pull this, the Tower. So we have 3 major arcana cards here. So this is major shifts, major big shifts. And this is, but what's interesting then, we have little, I shouldn't say little, but kind of little old Page of Wands right here in the middle of it. And what that signifies is, again, that ignition point creating the change. And it's not going to be like this huge mass change. It's going to ignite new things, new ideas, new thought processes. It's starting for a lot of people who haven't awakened yet. This is going to be the trigger point of that beginning of awakening for a lot of people. And it's going to come in like wham, and this isn't going to be a slow awakening, even though it's a page. But that's just indicating something new we're on the precipice of something new that is really all of a sudden, the seed has already been planted. It's been planted. It's like now all of a sudden the seed, we see it sprouting and it growing now. But something's definitely going to happen very spontaneously, suddenly here with the Tower. And this is that Uranus energy. But what it's bringing in here is more light frequency with the Sun card. This is light energy. This is more light coming into this physical reality that's going to help balance the density. And this isn't about, and that's where we have to shift our awareness to, because we've grown up thinking this is like light versus dark, right? Good versus evil. But now as we've awakened more, we realize that it's all encompassing, that this third dimension is polarity. It is the light and the dark. But we've shifted to not see the dark as just evil or bad or push it away or get rid of it. We're understanding that we need the dark and the light to come together in wholeness, in unity and harmony, for us to feel whole and complete. And for us to make changes, we have to be able to embrace all of it. So we're shifting our viewpoint, but also the frequency has had to continuously lift higher and higher for us to really be able to shift the collective more and to create more mass awakening and to really shift the frequency to the point where we are becoming more balanced and more harmonious. Where before, right, historically, the dense really was more prominent in this reality than the light energy. So this is right on par here. So this to me is also the progression here, the momentum of the week. Like, you know, it's going to progress to the weekend, which is going to be that Tower. And this isn't about, you know, being scared of the Tower. I'm excited about this, and that's where we need to ground and shift our perspective and not see change as like this scary, fearful thing. We don't want to put fear into it. But this is just, we need to uproot the systemic density out of the collective. And that's what's happening with this Tower. Oops. And we have the, so I'm just pulling these cards out. And one more. Look at this. Oh my, this, I could not, this is, we have the Emperor and Empress. This is the sacred masculine and the divine feminine coming together into harmony here. Wow. And they're coming into their power, their potential, reaching their potentiality, a higher potential of harmony and balance within this reality, which this is also going to be seen within your own individual experiences for those of you on this path that have already been, you know, working through your ascension, awakening, and finally all the work that all these light worker star seeds, awakened people have been doing to shift. This is the Seven of Pentacles, and this is about, we've already planted the seeds, and we've invested our time and energy into doing the work, into creating something new within ourselves, right? And it's through our own individual shifts, as each one of us come together collectively, as more and more people collectively shift and increase their energy frequency and start embodying this new awakened state, this is now paying off. And this is what we've been working towards, is all of a sudden, all the hard work is going to pay off. And we're going to start seeing the fruits of everything that this collective has been doing on an energetic frequency. And it's about shifting. This is creating a new legacy for the earth and for humanity with the Ten of Pentacles. We are creating new templates. This is going to be a big shift. We're rebuilding the templates that we live upon, that humanity functions off of. We are creating more harmony and balance and abundance, and deeper connections that are ones tied to love, peace, joy, compassion, and doing what's right for others. This is what's shifting, instead of this egoic self and harming others. And then, of course, we have the shift here with the feminine and masculine energies. Wow. This is a big one, but I love it. And it's not that I'm trying to, you know, I'm not trying to sensationalize this video or what's happening, but it's so exciting, the shifts that are happening. Yeah, maybe people want things to happen overnight, but again, if they happened overnight, the chaos, or just a lot of people couldn't handle it, right? So, but that's how this 3D world happens. Manifestation is slower, and it's there for a reason, and it protects us, and it makes things more manageable, more palatable for us to physically handle, but also emotionally and mentally and energetically. I'm just going to get one for the Page of Wands, a clarifier here. Two of Pentacles. And yep, there's the karmic energy here. So we're awakening. We're starting this, seeing things newly, like a new child. We're being rebirthed here as a collective. And then let's see the Tower. Six of Wands. So something, how this is going to unfold too is we're going to be, because the Six of Wands is about success or accomplishment. And this is about energetic shifts in overcoming, I don't want to say the war of darkness, but this card is kind of coming out of a war, and this person has won, they're successful, and they're celebrating where they're at. And that's exactly how this tower is going to unfold, which is very beautiful energy. There's nothing to be afraid of here. But we're like standing in the face of the old as this falls here, as the tower comes in and kind of breaks up the chains. So in this card, the Devil, this really is about the chains that tie us to, and the chains really represent beliefs, patterns, dynamics, karma, relationships, that things that we tie us to that create suffering. And that's really what this whole concept of evil is really our own. We are our own creators of our own hell and our own heaven. And a lot of us choose to live in our own created, what we call hell, by, again, the chains, the ties that bind us. They bind us to distortion and deception and untruths, and we live by it. And these untruths that we live by in the way, the default way we live, and what really is guiding us through our life is all distorted energy based on our traumas, our misinformation, our false belief systems. And all of our templates, our old templates of life, are built off this. Exactly. The concept of relationship, marriage, how we live in the world, right? Like the template of you go to school from 5 to 18 and you go into the public school system and you are pushed into the foundational structures and organizations that have been built to disconnect us from our potential and our power. And then we're told, especially in the United States, like, you're programmed as kids to believe, well, you're not going to make anything of yourself if you don't go to college. And then you're put into a college system that's just, again, based on greed and money and corruption. And then it continues. Oh, then you have to find someone and get married and have kids. And again, you're forced into this template. And so most of the time, 90, probably 5% of people are getting married to people that are not in alignment with their true authentic self, their true soul alignment. So, and that's going back to the masculine and feminine. When it's the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, and that's what we're shifting. We're shifting back into coming back to our sacred masculine and divine feminine. And it's only when we come into harmony like this that we can then attract someone that's the same alignment. And this is the ultimate template here for relationship in this reality. And that's what we're changing. All right, everyone, a lot here. This was an exciting reading. Very significant week. Probably one of the biggest of the year. So it's exciting. Just go with the flow, ground. Definitely don't overdo it this week, because this is the time to take advantage of these energies, whether it's in dream state, whether it's in meditation, slowing down, sitting in nature. All right, let me know how things are going, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.